Oh, Phoenix family, good afternoon. Oh my gosh, finally happy to see you all in person, live, and very, very happy. It's been a pleasure for me, really an honor to be here. The first time I spoke at Phoenix, it was during the peak of the pandemic. And the topic was from CFO to CEO. Because for the first time in the history of the world, the CFOs have more airtime than the CEOs. So I was very happy to be part of that conversation. And I would like to actually report that right after that conversation, I had a couple of LinkedIn requests. And not just requests, but messages. But two of them are not from the Philippines, one from Indonesia, and I don't know the other country. And they were asking for help on how they can actually strive during the pandemic because they were moms, were consultants who could not do what they could because it was pandemic. So I kind of mentor them on LinkedIn. And one of them, actually both of them, have reported that they have actually found their work from home jobs. And one of them actually became an entrepreneur herself. So yes, you make a difference, FINEX, and very happy to share now another topic, which is the power of storytelling in changing the world for the better. Yes. Of course, good governance is all about transparency, sustainability, but most of all, it's institutionalizing and creating processes to ensure that whatever that you do today continues for a very long time. Right? So to start with, um, I'm here on my hat as a communicator. Yes. So we are in a business of communication. We are in a business of storytelling. Okay. So over the last 10 years, we produced, published 900 million words, 300,000 graphs and images and videos, $10 billion worth of media mileage. And basically, if you're going to tell it in a story way, if you read all of this on average speed, you would have traveled the circumference of the earth 2,200 times. Or you would have reached the moon 226 times and go back to Earth 740 times. That's through the power of content, creatives, multimedia distribution, PR, social media, digital marketing, destination marketing, and investment promotion. We have actually, just by storytelling, we've helped our clients reach 27 billion worth of investment in sales. Through storytelling, we influence people to be part of a movement. We empower companies to deliver results, and we enable governments to build nations, including, proud to say, the Philippines. Right? Again, through the power of storytelling anywhere in the world. Now, I'm here to talk about sustainable development goals and how through storytelling, we're able to achieve at least three of them. And I also chose one topic that is endearing to all of us, Filipinos. So we've looked at different transactions we've done over the last few years, and I feel that Philippines is something that you would like to hear more about. Right? So those specific three would be SG1 on eradicating poverty, number two is reducing inequalities, and taking action with regard to climate change. So I'm going to give you three short stories. Okay. The first story. Every year, more than 1 million Filipinos leave the Philippines so they can have a better life for their families. Sometimes it's just for their families, not for them. They give too much that they leave nothing for themselves. The UAE has the world's largest concentration of Filipinos anywhere in the world, with 1 million Filipinos. We have 200 nationalities in the UAE. Out of those 200, you know who is the most indebted? Filipinos. That's in 2010. So now we have partnered with organizations, government agencies, companies, and community groups, and we partnered with them to ask one question. Why? How can it be that the very person who wants to save her or his family could not save her or his own life? It all boils down to a Filipino's inability to say no, lack of financial knowledge, and the lack of visible alternative solutions. So armed with the Filipino Times, we have actually started to do something about it. We started telling a story and telling them you can actually say no. Because saying no to many things can mean saying yes to that one thing that you really want. You know what is that? To be together with your family the soonest time possible. So we partnered with a lot of organizations But allow me to name a few female partners we've had because it's International Women's Month. So to start with, this is very new. So Ayala CEO Mian D led the roadshow last year, which aimed for 1 billion peso sales. Again, to give the dream to Filipino, which is to own their own home. So they had a pledge, they had a goal of making sales of 1 billion pesos. In less than 1 month, the team was able to actually make 1.3 billion of sales by storytelling. Today, I mean, 12 years ago, we opened and launched Ayala Land's office in the UAE. That was so small. We were selling Bellavita, the smallest one. Today, there's a lot of people who are buyers of Alveo and Premier. And today as well, happy to say that UAE is the largest, the fastest growing market, growing more than 150%, beating UK and the US. Of course, thank you to Rockwell in here, while we're here. Just doesn't move for a while. Okay, so there's Rockwell. So, by the way, these two ladies that we have featured are actually now the big bosses of these companies. But when we had them last year, they were still about to be promoted. Right. So Rockwell, known as a premium brand, wanted to contribute as well to the movement. So no less than CEO Valerie Sullivan led the participation in the Philippine Property Investment Exhibition, which we organized. And today, the UAE or the OFW is one of their fastest growing segment as well. Of course, BPI is also part of it, for example. So Mariana Zubel and Jinbi wanted to make it easier for overseas Filipinos to save. After doing a couple of global studies with us, we have found out that the biggest problem is that it's just so much requirements necessary to just save. So now, happy to say that through Michael V, I think you're seeing now in advertising right now. So we've launched a product that will make it possible for OFs to invest in the future in just a few minutes, in just one document. Right. Before we started advocacy, okay, before we started advocacy, I told you earlier that Filipinos were indebted. Only 2 out of 10 would like to even save up or invest. Based on our last study, this has now increased to 86%. By storytelling, we can eradicate poverty by starting in education, financial literacy. The second, okay, so this is on the number one. The second story that I'd like to tell you is about how we can reduce inequalities, again, by storytelling. Let me start it with a story of myself, a very quick one. 20 years ago, or more than 20 years ago, I arrived in the UAE as a struggling young mother. But just like any parent, I was full of hope and big dreams for my daughter, Naomi. I looked for a job and I was told the highest position I could ever have is to be a secretary. And so I became one. But I wanted to be more. So I defied the naysayers and even Western companies, or even companies who wanted only Westerners. I defied them. I said, I want the role that I want. Later in life, I'd be named as the Middle East Female Leader of the Year and Entrepreneur of the Year. And people were crying, at least some Filipino women in the hotel, and they would say, thank you, ma'am. So it's an honor that we can bring, by storytelling, we can bring over not just ourselves, but for the bigger population and the bigger community. So I got accepted and I became probably one of the youngest business and finance journalists. So I've been traveling Europe, Middle East, and Africa, doing financial matters. But I thought my story was unique. But, there is some discrimination. Apparently, it's not. My story was not unique. There are so many of us. So when I started New Perspective Media Group, I said to myself, we're going to change the narrative. We're going to change the story. For example, whatever learning that we've had for managing the branding and reputation of the 12 banks out of the 52 banks in the UAE, we're going to use it to change the narratives of the Filipino. So the builders of brand of governments and corporations, we confirm that the market will only react if the market will be benefited by it. We can argue that Filipinos are excellent, but so what? What's in it for them? So once again, in partnerships with government, private companies, as well as organizations, we ask the question, how can we change the narrative? So we said, here's what's in for you. Who are the biggest buyers? Who are the most loyal customers? Who actually makes your business run? It's the Filipinos. International brands were shocked. Oh, it's Filipinos after all. Yes, Filipinos can buy. And when you make them buy, they will be your loyal customers for many generations to come. Now that we get them to listen, now that we have their ears, they ask, how come Filipinos can buy? We answer, oh, you know why? Because Filipinos are excellent. They're good in what they do. Now they will listen on that statement. Now, to make excellence a culture, we institutionalize it on a massive scale. We award excellence anywhere in the world. When I arrived in the UAE, the average salary of Filipino don't make them bankable. And, bankable in here would be 50,000 pesos or 70,000 pesos. Now, a big majority of the Filipinos in the UAE are earning $1,500 per month, making them more than bankable, and 20% earning more than $6,000 per month. This is recently with all the professionals that we've been awarding. And sooner we will also have finance professionals to tell the world that Filipinos are professionals. So we enhance the image of Filipinos, we boost the morale and self-esteem, then they get higher bargaining power in the jobs market. Number 3, last but not the least, how can we contribute in climate action for SDG number 13? One of the reasons why the Philippines is not seen as a leader is because we're always asking for help. And yes, because the Philippines is one of the most disaster-prone area in the world. Since 1990, the Philippines has faced around 600 natural disasters, killing 70,000 and costing $23 billion in damages. But what if we can change the narrative? Just a question, what if? What if instead of asking for help, it is actually the Philippines who will offer solutions? And what if this solution is launched in the biggest platform that tackles climate change, the United Nations, COP? 3 months ago, it actually happened. We are privileged to be part of the team that tells the story when Ayala Corp's ASIN announced the launch of its Just Energy Transition, or JET roadmap for a coal-fired power plant in Batangas. Believe me, when I was there, it's the first time I've seen in all of the many UN conventions I've been that the Philippines is in a plenary as a solutions provider, not somebody seeking for help. The initiative builds on the momentum from the energy transition mechanism. It's actually the world's first and the only market-based transaction to successfully program or create a solution for the early retirement of coal-fired power plant. Again, I can tell you the goosebumps when you were seeing the Philippines there on the plenary stage. Finally, the Philippines has a seat on the table, somehow like a big boy, one of the big boys, because we offer a solution. Once again, hang on for a moment. How do we make the world listen to us? We offer a solution. They will ask you, what's in it for us? Let's contribute something. Now, this one is a video, just a quick one. And I think this will be very interesting. Some of you must have seen this, but this is an AI-powered generated one, which you can actually mention just by typing the prompts. The prompt here, for example, is a stylish woman walks down to a Tokyo street filled with a warm, glowing neon and animated city signage. And you can do that within just 5 seconds. Just typing it. She wears sunglasses and red lipstick. She walks confidently and casually. Many pedestrians walk about. The storytelling has never been as exciting as it is today. Or what about not just present? Here is a video. When you say, This is just historical footage. Let me see it. Historical footage of California during the gold rush. You can do that in 2 seconds. This is how easy it is now to tell a story. With AI, telling stories that make positive impact will be very, very fast. It took 3.5 years for everybody, for Netflix to have 3.5 million users. I'm sorry, it takes 3.5 years for Netflix to have 1 million users. Twitter, 2 years. ChatGPT to get 1 million users, 5 days. This is how easy now to spread the word. We always have to know what is our North Star in telling our story.